it's Natalie.
It's Emily.
Hey y'all, it's Madeline.
And I'm Autumn, and this is TWT.
Hello everyone, it's Madeline and welcome back to TWT. In today's episode, we will be learning more about the Student Money Management Center and give you all information about this great campus resource. To help me do so, please help me welcome our special guests, Cameron and Krishna. So why don't you all start off by
Hello.
introducing yourselves?
Hello. Yes, so my name is Krishna. I am the main coaching specialist here at Student Money Management Center. I do one-on-one, so what I with students who have financial concerns, and they'll come to me and I do my best to coach them.
Hi, I'm Cameron. I'm one of the outreach specialists here at the Student Money Management Center. So with us, we just do presentations and tabling and going in and out of classrooms and helping students with any financial advice that they may need.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Y'all's job sounds so cool. And just to get started right off with a question, so what exactly is the Student Money Management Center for anyone on campus or who's applied to TWU who really doesn't know? How can y'all explain it?
Yeah,
So,
so
do you want to take it?
yeah, I can take it.
Okay.
So the Student Money Management Center is a free resource for students to utilize. Basically, what that means is if they have any financial concerns or questions that they might have, we they can come to us and we can help them provide those resources to help better navigate their financial journey while they are still in school. And so some of these resources can be if they have any questions over like budgeting, credit cards, student loans, because a lot of us, may have loan debt by the time that we graduate, and as well as savings, because savings is a huge part of that. So yeah, those are some of the services that we provide here at the
And
Student
I'll
Money
have to
Management Center.
Awesome. And I'll have to say the Student Money Management Center does always give out the coolest t-shirts at any kind of event. I have so many t-shirts from y'all, so thank you all for that.
Yes.
So if you all ever see them at a tabling event, they definitely have the coolest t-shirts.
Hmm.
So
And the
moving
cool
on,
swag.
yes, y'all do. So how did the Student Money Management Center start?
So the state of Texas they took an initiative in order to help reduce the amount of debt that students were carrying after college, because they realized after making an assessment that a lot of Texas college graduates were carrying a lot of debt after school. So, in order to promote that financial well-being, several universities across Texas, they created the exact same thing that we have here, is different student money management centers. So, and we actually got the opportunity to go to a conference out in Tarleton, and because they are a small program like us as well, a lot of different other universities, well-established universities like UNT, that has had their student money management center for a while. We got the opportunity to learn from the best, pretty much, and see how they manage their student money management center. But that's overall how it started, and what these student money management centers do is what we do as well. So we do peer mentorship, we do outreach like what Cameron does, and then we also do an integration in academics. So in UNIF, for example, is a class that freshmen take while they're their first year. They take the class called UNIF, and I believe there is a module that they have to complete to get credit. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I
Mhm.
remember like doing that module and like having to reach out and like ask questions and things like I'm remembering that now. I'm like, oh my God, I did have to do that.
Yeah, and that's literally why we started.
Oh, that's cool. I totally didn't know that
Yeah,
or like other campuses had this as well and y'all worked with them. So that's like super cool.
Mhm.
yeah.
So what are the Student Money Management Center's goals?
Some goals that we have at the Student Money Management Center, one thing that we're really trying to work on is our social media, trying to brand our name and really get out there. Because in our when I do tabling events and I'll ask people, do they know about us? They'll say, "Oh, I've heard about y'all, but I don't really know too much about what the
Mhm.
Student Money Management Center does. So with our social media, we try to post a lot and get people to know who we are, what we do. We try to help when we post things about different financial topics, whether it's like the census date or the scholarship opportunity closes, and we want students to kind of really understand like the different financial opportunities that's out there. Another one of our goals, I would have to say, is helping students understand personal financial topics. So, like Krishna meant earlier, or like Krishna said earlier, um, we talk about what is a budget, how to start one for students, cre- credit, different lines of credit, so credit cards, loans, making sure that they pay them back on time so that they don't hurt their credit score. We also, like Krishna mentioned earlier, with student loan debt, we try to really get out there and help our students understand how to, if they are in student loan debt, how to pay them back. And so we host webinars once a semester with
Oh,
the help
cool.
of the Sally Mae with student loan repayment or student loan debt repayment. And in that webinar, we talk about the different types of loans, so subsidized, unsubsidized. We talk about how can you pay them back, when to start paying them back. On some loans, you probably want to start paying the interest that occurs early.
Mhm.
So we just talk about those different things. We Another goal that we have is trying to get students to understand their financial responsibilities on campus. So at the Student Money Management Center, we help students try to find internal scholarships,
Mhm.
and we point them to the different directions where they need to go, whether it's if we need to tell them to go directly to the scholarship office or in Pioneer Portal where all of the scholarships will be located and they can just go in there and see what they qualify for. We kind of help them figure out what they qualify for, maybe how to fill it out, who do they need to talk to, and just different things like that.
Awesome. And I think that's great that you all are using social media to promote these things because like not only is that an easy platform to like students to look at, but it's like you can
Mhm.
relay so many information because I know when I was first like applying to college or even still now, like I've never taken like any financial literacy courses and I was so lost. Things like saving and scholarships and loans. So like a resource like that is just so great. So how does one schedule an appointment with y'all and what does a typical appointment look like?
So I can take that one. So, um, how does one schedule an appointment? So you can actually type on Google TW SMMC. It should take you straight to our page where you can click on the link where it says make an appointment, and it'll take you straight to a Google form. However, if you have the opportunity to come see us at a tabling session, for example, or an event that we're hosting, we will pass out like these little quarter sheets that have a QR code at the on the back, where students can just scan the QR code, and then it just straight takes you straight to the link. Um, and yeah, and then how does one make an appointment, or what does a typical
Or what
appointment
does
look
like
like?
yeah, what does like a typical appointment look for? Like what kind of questions get asked, things like that?
Yeah, so a typical appointment may look like so during the Google form that these students have to answer before making an appointment, it asks them about like three topics that they can choose from whatever questions that they may have. And then based on that, then I go and then I check what topics that they chose, and I'm making sure that I'm well versed. A popular topic that has been now I would say would be like budgeting and paying for school because, rightfully so, a lot of us are trying to pay for school and make sure that our bill is paid. But as far as budgeting, a lot of students are having trouble um, deciding or yeah, deciding what is a want and a need. Some students
Mhm.
may be like, well, going out to Chick-fil-A, that's like every day is a need because I need to have my Chick-fil-A. And that's great. We just need to assess how many times you want to go in order to help, not go broke, and start saving some money.
Yeah, I think I definitely had that problem. I know, like, my first year in college, because like, it's not like your parents are here to be like, "You shouldn't do this," or "You shouldn't do." I mean, it's pretty,
Yeah.
especially, like, living in a dorm, like, I feel like, it's like, "Oh, money doesn't matter, like, I have the freedom," but, like, I figured out quickly that,
Yeah.
I gotta start money does matter, and I gotta start saving up and things like that, you know? So I think it's great that you're,
Yes.
like, able to, like, talk to students about this. I think that's definitely, like, a real problem that so many students do face is, like, exactly, like, how to budget and things like that.
And just to piggy off of back of what you said, yeah, a lot of students, they come into these sessions and they realize they're like, dang, I'm at college and I love to swipe because, I'm away from home. I got
Mhm.
my own independent life right now. And I'm just gonna do what I can to just to have fun and enjoy the college experience, and that's awesome. But like then they realize that I don't have money to go out anymore, and that's when it starts
Yeah.
to become a problem. So
And I was definitely one of those students. I'm a prime example of that. If someone's listening now, please do not spend all your money the first year. I know there's so many cute shops in Denton Square, but I trust me, you don't need all those outfits. Take it from me.
No, yeah. I relate to when I was a freshman, I spent a lot of my money on school merchandise, so yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's me now. I have to realize, Cameron, you don't have to eat out every time. I just,
yes. I was like, you have a meal plan for a reason. use
yeah.
use the meal plan. So I know y'all talked about tabling a couple times. So how would a person schedule a presentation or or like request for tabling and things like that?
Kind of going off of what Krishna said, it's like as if you almost schedule a coaching session.
Mhm,
So there's two ways to do this. You can either go on our Instagram at TWU Maroon Money, and in our bio there's a link to a link tree, and in our link tree there's a tab to, and it's going to say schedule presentation, and you click on that and it takes you straight to our forum, or you can, or someone can go to twu.edu/smmc, and it'll take you directly to our webpage. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, there's a link, and you click on that, and that will take you to our form to schedule a presentation. If someone wants to schedule us to table at their event, there's not really a place for you to schedule it. But
Mhm.
once you go into the presentation scheduling, if you write in the comments you want us to table at an event, my supervisor will see that and then help us set up to basically table at that event.
Awesome. So speaking of like the presentations and tabling,
Mhm.
so what type of topics do y'all cover in a presentation and events like you all table at?
We cover a wide variety of financial topics. It just all depends on what we were scheduled to present, or if someone is
um,
scheduling us, they can pick what they want us to talk about. So, just for an example, this is my favorite event that I've done so far. We've partnered with um, Student Health Services here on campus. On
Mhm.
Valentine's Day, we did a tabling event. And with that one, we talked about the cost associated with choosing to, or deciding to have a child or to not have a
Oh,
child. And so we talked about the cost to birth a child with or without insurance. We talked about adoption, the cost of adoption, IVS. We also talked about the cost associated with contraceptives and different preventative methods. So
mhm.
we talked about the cost of getting, what is it, like birth control with or without insurance. So the patch, pills, the shots. We talked about vasectomies, and if someone decided to move in the direction of getting their tubes tied. And I really liked that event. The reason why it was my favorite, because I knew that having a child was expensive, but being at the event and physically seeing the
Mm,
numbers, so it could be from like 9,000 to almost 20 grand just to have a child.
yeah.
And that right there kind of made me see. And I like this one because we were able to give the information to our peers. So for people who maybe are thinking about having a child, this was good for them to see, okay, well, and I make within this ballpark and I will be able to financially take care of a child. Or for people who maybe not be looking to have a child right now, but just maybe wanted to see what it may cost. So
Mhm.
yeah, that was my favorite tabling event.
Krishna, do you have a favorite tabling event you've done or?
I will say, I won't talk about, I don't really table as much anymore because I do a lot of the coaching sessions now.
Mhm.
But I will talk about my favorite presentation that I've done. Um, so the Laura from Adelante, Adelante is a first gen Latin students that have come here to attend TWU and pursue, their education. And they have asked me to present a presentation over budgeting. So sorry, I cut off.
It's
But
okay.
basically they had me come in and we also played the game of life, and I just basically instructed them, or I basically told them all of the resources, all of the different budgeting resources that are available for free, how to start one. I incorporated some Spanish terms as well in there because I am a first gen Latin student. So to be able to have the opportunity to present to people that are just like me that can relate to the same experiences that I've had while going to school, felt like that was empowering in a way because I was helping them. And I know, like, and personally, I didn't grow up with a lot of financial literacy. I didn't grow up like that. So for me to just push that information and to other students that look exactly like me, that come from exact same background with me, it was great. That was my favorite presentation that I've done so far, and I'm looking forward to more opportunities with
I
Awesome.
actually sat in that presentation with Krishna. She did a very
Mhm.
good job presenting.
them.
I myself learned a lot from that presentation because we, like, from where I come from, we don't really talk about financial
Hmm.
literacy and talk about a lot of stuff. So once I got this job and got exposed to a lot more things, but the presentation that she did, it was very helpful, and I think that we should do that presentation more because a lot of people don't get that opportunity to learn about it. And we if different departments and stuff really utilize us and help students learn more about that, it can change so many people's lives.
Yeah, like I didn't have, like I said before, like I didn't have really any financial literacy at all. So like the fact that y'all are like presenting these things is just so amazing. And you really are changing lives. Like I've learned so much like just looking on y'all's Insta about like, like fast fun when scholarship stuff is like I wouldn't know how to do that to myself. So you all really are helping people.
Yeah.
So can you all give us example of client stories that you all have had, maybe like certain questions or just like something you really think you did well or like help someone, things like that?
Yeah. So, and I've seen this in a lot of instances where students come in and they have concerns and questions over um, paying for school, budgeting, and
Mhm.
how, starting a savings account or setting money aside for a savings account. In this instance, one that really struck with me, we're gonna call her Jill. Jill came in, and she had some concerns about, because she was paying rent, she was also paying for her education, um, and so she was wondering, like, well, how am I going to be able to keep paying for school if I can barely afford rent, barely afford my groceries and all that stuff? And so I feel like in the end, we created a budget. So we took into account how much money she's bringing in a month, as well as how many times she gets paid. And then we started listing out the different responsibilities that she had to pay within a month. After that, we assess, like, um, like an itemized budget just to help her see some numbers, because I know seeing the numbers on paper, it can actually start helping you set some money aside for that. And so after that, I feel like our coaching session, I definitely felt like she had a sense of relief, because um one, money is a very taboo subject. Like, a lot of people are uncomfortable with talking about their financial situation. So for her to just feel comfortable enough to tell me what she's been struggling with, feel like after talking to someone, you feel a little bit like less stressed, because now you have someone that's actually listening to you and not judging you. In a way, and it helped me as well, because um before I started this job, I had a fear that I wasn't going to be able to help anyone. Like, I wanted to make sure that I was doing my job correctly, so um I feel like it helped me, because after I gave her all the resources, she gave me a hug, and so we hugged it out, and it was a really nice moment, because I don't know, I just felt like I was really helpful at the time. So,
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
For me, for outreach specialist, me personally, I don't necessarily have like one-on-one clients,
Mm-hmm.
but I think one that kind of puts a smile on my face that I enjoy from when people come up to me at tabling events and be like, so I'll ask them like, "Oh, have you heard about the Student Money Management Center?" And then they'll be like, "Oh, you were in my UNIF class. I remember y'all." Or you did a presentation with this organization that I'm a part of. I learned so much from that. And so that kind of boosts and like makes me feel good to know that if not everybody's taking something away from this, there's one person sitting in the room who's gonna remember my face, my name, or remember the Student Money Management Center and what we've taught and helped them change about their selves financially.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome that y'all get to like not only like experience it, like people saying thank you and things like that, but you're also like really helping someone. So that's probably like such a cool experience. So, so what are some tips that you all have for college students trying to save money? And like I said, I personally struggled with this. So what would y'all give our listeners like personal advice?
I would say one main tip that it was very hard for me, but I had to learn, and I think that a lot of people should learn, is discipline.
Mm,
Before I got this job at the Student Money Management Center and really learned about budgeting and saving and stuff, I didn't have any discipline. I had one job, so all the money that I was making was going into my checkings account, and so I just swiping. And as I started to get older, I realized I have a lot of responsibilities coming up. I'm about to graduate next year, so I have to think about.
congrats.
Thank you. I had to think about moving out on my own, starting to pay for bills and stuff. I'm also thinking about going back to school and getting my master's. So I have to
Mm,
think about paying for school. If I don't get my master's, I have to start paying my loans down. And so with that, I got a second job. And so the money that I get from the Student Money Management Center, I both of my checks come into one account. I have
mm,
two accounts, but both of my checks come into one account, and I go in there every time I get paid on the first and split my money up. And I have made myself disciplined, so I don't touch any of the money that I get from this job. Have not touched it, and if I have, I like reimburse the account the next day. Like, it was an emergency, so I had to take it out. But when I got the money back, I put it right back. So that's one thing that I really say that people should work on is once you get disciplined, it'll be easy to become financially successful.
awesome.
Yeah, and I was going to say, everyone has probably heard this already, but budgeting is a really strong foundation I have. But with budgeting, it kind of goes hand in hand with what Cameron was saying. Discipline is a big thing, but what I also want to say, learn how to say no. Like, we're college
Mm,
students and we want to be going out So everywhere, going out to with our friends, and that's completely fine. But it gets to a certain point where you look at your bank account and it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm
Yeah.
gonna be able to go out this time. And it's like, well, I also don't want to miss out. But you know, good friends, real friends will realize that, hey girl, I know you have no money, so let's just stay in, watch a movie, we can still hang out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, learning how to say no, and in the end it'll definitely help you because one, you're saying no to events that will cost you money, and so in the end you'll be saving a lot more money than you were before. Um, and so yeah, it's just, and also it also goes hand in hand with discipline, like learning how to say no.
Awesome. So, in y'all's opinion, what are some steps students can take to start being productive when it comes to managing their finances before they come to college?
I and me speaking for me personally, I when I came into college, I had one bank account, which was my checkings account.
Mm-hmm.
So any extra money, any extra income was going into one account. And so me still thinking with a childlike mentality, I mean, hey, money, I spending it, the cash that I get, I spent it. I didn't think about anything about savings because fortunately enough, my parents are able to help me with certain things. So I was just like, oh, and I had to tell myself, Cameron, what are you going to do one day when it's time for you to grow up and your parents aren't paying your bills, your parents aren't doing this, doing that? And so I had to teach myself, okay, so I opened up a savings account and started saving money. I mean, I wasn't the best at it, but it was a
Mm-hmm.
step. I was making progress on putting money into my savings account for if I had to pay for my books or if something emergency happened with my health or something. So I will say definitely opening up a savings account and taking portions of your check and putting it in your savings and putting the rest in your checkings.
Awesome.
My thing would be before finally, whenever those big financial decisions come into play, I always want, whenever students come in here into the coaching sessions, I always ask them, okay, so how do you differentiate between your needs and your wants? A lot of us are still struggling with, well, I think a need is like going out to Chick-fil-A, like I said, or Starbucks every day. Before class starts, I like to get my Starbucks drink, every morning. And a lot of us still have like that, like I need to do it, and that it's become a routine in my life, and so I have to continue doing it, but it's not getting the results that they want with their money. And so that's why whenever students come in during their coaching sessions, I like to ask, like, okay, so when we're making a budget, what do your needs and your wants look like? Because
Mm-hmm.
if it's a need like rent and you're paying for rent and your tuition, obviously we need to prioritize those first, as well as food, because we don't want you to starve. We want you to continue to going to school, and we want you to continue living under that same roof. And so but that can conflict whenever when they have other expenses that may not be extremely necessary at the time. So yeah, just differentiating between your wants and your needs is probably your first step before starting a budget.
Awesome. And that is really good advice. So,
Yeah.
on to our last question, sadly. So, do y'all have any upcoming events, and how can students stay connected with the Student Money Management Center?
Do we have events? We have plenty of events, especially in April. That's our Maroon Money Month. So we'll be
Mm,
to stay up with it. We have lots of events planned each week, but for a more recent one coming up, we have the financial coaching on the go, and that's where Krishna, our coach, our peer mentor coach, we will be in we'll be in the
Student
student
Union.
union on the first floor, and I'll let Krishna talk about it more since she'll be doing. I won't be there, but she'll be there.
Yeah, so it's an upcoming event that we'll have. I don't know when this podcast episode will air, but it's um hopefully it's before March ends because the
It will be.
event is okay, cool,
Oh,
cool.
for sure, be before
Um,
March. Don't worry. Right when
oh,
this ends, I'll be editing.
okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, because coaching sessions on the go is basically students have the opportunity to come up to me and ask any financial questions that they may have, like how do I start the credit card? Where do I find a credit card? When do I need to start paying those loans off? Questions like those I can answer. And it'll be in Student Union 1602, I believe, room 1602. And yeah,
Mhm.
I'll also be giving out candy, so because we have a lot in the office. So if anybody has any questions over that, if any questions over like again, credit cards, student loans, budgeting, then they are more than welcome to come and show and have me answer their questions for them.
But yeah,
Awesome.
in April, we're doing, since it's like I said, it's our Maroon Money Month. We're
Mhm.
doing an egg hunt. We're doing trivia night. We're doing a giveaway for all the 3 campuses: the Dallas campus, the Houston campus, and the Denton campus. We're doing a $9 giveaway. We have 2 webinars coming up. It's the home buying webinar and the car buying webinar. So we have a lot of things planned. We're doing a couple giveaways. We're giving things out to students. So if they want to keep up with, I don't know the dates for everything off the top of my head, but
Mhm.
definitely check out our Instagram at TW Maroon Money, because that's when we'll start posting the flyers for everything and talking about what we're doing or each event in the captions and stuff. So that's how that people can stay in contact with us. We're mainly on Instagram and Facebook. So yeah.
Awesome. So, all right, y'all, that concludes our episode. Thank you so much to Cameron and Krishna for joining us and talking to us about the Student Money Management Center. So, I'm sure money is something that everyone is thinking of, whether you're a student now or you're coming to college and this next fall. So, definitely, they gave us so much good advice. So, thank you all so much for that. So, my
Thank
name
you
is
for
Madeline.
having us.
Thank
Of
you.
course. Thank you all so much for coming. So, my name is Madeline, and thank you all so much for listening to yet another podcast of TWT. Until next time, Pioneers.